Hi, I'm Kass and this is Honey.
And we're regular Canadians enjoying weed. And we're here with Craig.
Hey, what's going on?
Not a regular Canadian, an expert.
True.
Well, at least that's what the shirt says anyway.
Expert in joints. In the scholastic field of joints.
I guess I'm a regular Canadian in a lot of ways. When it comes to consuming cannabis, maybe not so regular.
Definitely an irregular consumer of cannabis, but also a great joint roller. And tell us how you got into rolling joints.
Well, it started with initially not being able to roll your own joint. I had other people rolling joints for me, and then when they weren't around, I would like empty the tobacco out of a cigarette tube and then repack it back up and we pull the filter out and put something else in, and then there was wrapping around a straw and packing that. Like I did all that kind of stuff for a long time, and it was pathetic. Finally, I was with a friend of mine. Let's just call him Jay.
Looking at you, Jay.
He was tired of the fact that I couldn't roll a joint. And he was like, if you're going to hang out with me and you're chilling, you're going to have to learn how to roll a joint. And I said, well, okay.
Challenge accepted.
Well, no, and he gave me an ounce of weed and a pack of zigzags, and he said, don't come out till it's rolled. And this was a 6'4", 230 pounds. Here's me, like, you know, much smaller, a little bit younger, and by the time
Whatever you say, sir.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I could, like, roll a decent joint by the time I came out of there. But from that point on, it just, over the years, I just tried to learn a little bit, watch a few people, and eventually I was working at a club, and I had a lot of time around with a whole lot of cannabis around, and I just would sit there and just roll joints during the day, and I made it a point to just, how can I make them better, what can I do to improve, and they got to the point where they're pretty well put together.
Yeah, he's an expert.
And isn't that your catchphrase on your hugely successful show? Good for you.
Well, catchphrase, yes, for sure. The hugely successful is probably debatable depending on who you ask. But I do appreciate the support. Yeah, and thank you for having me on your show as well, too. I'd love to be able to cross over.
I love that. Tell us about where you got started. So you're not from here, you're from Calgary?
Yeah, so...
And you're a child actor, is that right? Tell us about that. I want to know what you acted in.
Go ahead.
How can I look you up and stalk you if I don't know what you acted in?
There is a video technically of me of like when I was like 13. It was a potato chip commercial for a UK chip company, I guess. And they came over and they built a log cabin in the middle of the Kananaskis, and we spent a week out there filming, eating these potato chips that weren't particularly tasty. I grew up in Calgary for the most part. We moved around a little bit, but Calgary was home. Moved here in 2002 to come out here. I was actually in the hospitality industry for a lot of years and in event management. And after a lot of years of being really good at my job, but my job not being really good for me, I got to the point where I needed something else to do. I literally hosted everything from the grade 2 winter pageant forward. I emceed everything. I was in all the school plays.
Winter pageant.
Yeah, like, you know, because there was always like the spring, the winter, right? You know, that kind of thing. And so
you
get
are a regular Canadian,
right?
Sir.
It was. So was always involved with all those and all the theater classes. When I stopped doing what other people told me to do, not in like a legal way, but in a boss sort of way, and I was like, I'm going to do what I think is cool, or what I want to do. And I'm just going to go out there and pick up the microphone where I always felt the most comfortable. I'm really good at rolling joints. What if I start maybe teaching people how to roll joints, or put out some how-to videos, or, you know, in a studio, make it all look fancy, good editing, good lighting, you know. And we did, and it got 1 million views. And then from there, just, you know, it sort of kind of began to snowball, and I did some more of them, and then I started to do a couple interviews, and then kind of hosted a couple of events off that, and people suddenly started to resonate with what I was saying, and with what I was trying to do. But where it went on, and the people I met, and the way it resonated with people, it came into this voice of, like, you know, helping with the community and open Pandora's box a little further and help more regular Canadians enjoy weed and understand what good weed is and what products are out there and what choices they have and how it might be helpful to them. And then I started the show actually because I didn't have a video that week to be able to put out a tutorial for that particular week. So I was like, well, I'll just start a video show in my living room and I'll just put that every week. It'll be cheap and easy and free. It can't be that hard. And as you know, it's quite a bit of work. And it is not. It's not cheap, and it's super easy. It's not super easy at all. It's super hard. So
the point is just to make it look easy, but
right?
it is not.
So really, it's
well, the
just
point
chaos.
what I found resonated with people the most was the fact that here I am, just out there putting myself, going, "Hi, here's me doing what I do, and this is why I think what I do is cool, or why I think this might matter to you." It's not necessarily so much about telling people about what you know, this is how it's going to work, or this is why you should do this. This is why I've done it. And here's what I found during it that resonated for me. And a lot of people either find that, wow, that's a similar thing that I've experienced, or I didn't find that, I found a little bit, or some crossover, or people just want, everybody, as you know, cannabis, no matter how regular, irregular you are, whether you're Canadian, whether you're Australian, whether you're fake-AustranonCanadialiens.
Australian.
Right?
Are you calling me an alien? Whoa.
Do you have a
Is it
green?
because of the shirt? Is it because of...
Do you need a green card for that? I'm confused now.
I have 2 passports.
Hey,
Thank you
very
much.
nice.
When?
So when was the first time you enjoyed weed?
Very first time I ever enjoyed weed was in Hawaii in 1989.
How old
I
were you
was
then?
15. Yeah, do the math. I'm old. Well, I was walking around the beach and ran into some guys who were roughly the same age, just smoking down on the beach, and they were kind enough to invite me over. And I was like, I don't know. Tried a couple little tokes, and nothing really much happened. But that was the first time. When I went back to Calgary, and a few months later, at a friend's get-together while his parents were away, hot tub kind of situation, and a joint came around. Then I got really, really high on that one.
Yeah.
That one worked.
I love weed.
Right. I consume pretty heavy. I do on a regular because I need to.
Yeah.
And if I don't, it doesn't end up well for me. And there's a lot of people who have to go through that. And I think the more that people can realize that, you know, there's help and there's options that they can find it, that's great. And that comes through more people talking about cannabis, making it more, hey, I can relate to that, or that resonates with me, or I learned about it through something I saw on Kass Honey, or whatever. You get these little bits that's all that someone needs to just sort of get over the hurdle or get through it. Plus, there is nothing wrong with recreationally enjoying cannabis, because that is medicinal too. It's just kind of like preventative medicine. We all have the cannabinoid systems in us. We are meant to and designed for so long to have, and as soon as we took that away from people, all these sicknesses and diseases and all this shit came that made our lives worse. The sooner we all get over our shit and accept the fact that cannabis is what we all need, not just something we have the right to, but we need it, we'll all be fine. You know, I saw a post the other day, you know, unicorns kill more people than cannabis.
Yeah. It's true.
It's true.
Those unicorns are bastards.
Like, you get one little tiny little pill, this big, kills all 3 of us. We smoke this whole fucking jar and then smoke another one. And be like, I'm gonna go crush a pizza and then take a nap. I mean, you two can puff pretty tough there, so you can keep up. But I could smoke,
We can.
Puff
right?
pretty tough.
We can.
Yes.
I
That
could
is high praise coming from the expert.
It is.
Thank
But
you.
I could smoke 2 or 3 of
Yeah.
these things by myself and just leave people like halfway through one.
We've seen and heard a few people leaving here a little bit like that. Not us, but
No,
we've
no.
heard some horror stories.
And so yeah,
But yeah, it's different for everyone. That's the thing.
very much, and I think that's what makes it so difficult to regulate and to dictate, well, this is the right way to handle this. Experience it. Start slow. Try a little bit of everything. Find someone who knows more about it than you do. There's a lot to continue to be able to tell, and I think we're going to have a lot more stories of regular Canadians and above average Canadians.
And expert Canadians, you can
And-
say it. No.
No,
He's an
but-
expert,
but-
we know.
But all sorts of different people from all around the world just watching. There's going to be a lot more change in cannabis to come. It's very cool to see the people who interact with it, and I know you've got fans around who follow you and you see and hear and interact with you.
Did you hear that?
Right? And it's amazing what resonates, because we do this because we want to do it and we enjoy it. And I wouldn't be smoking this weed trying to take over the world regardless, so I may as well do it on camera.
Yeah, oh my god,
right?
did you like read our business plan?
So we take over the world.
Yeah.
That's our business plan.
Right? It's a pretty good one. I'm 5
Well,
years
like,
in
it's
with it.
brilliant.
It's working okay.
Yeah,
it's working
yeah.
okay.
I've
so,
noticed.
yeah.
You have rolling
Right.
chairs. That's how you know you've arrived.
There's such a, although there's a lot of companies and a lot of people and a lot of stuff happening out there in the business, there's always a vacuum for more. There's always a need for more. And I find that you can't make enough content if it's good content. It's well put together content. Like this joint is about to be, and this interview's been.
Amen.
Thank you for having us at your studio.
Thank you. Make
Your
sure you-
real official studio, and thank you for being on our show and for being a regular Canadian enjoying weed.
Thanks for having me.
An expert Canadian.
An
enjoying
expert.
weed.
Well, a regular Canadian who's kind of a little bit fairly well known to enjoy some weed.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
and don't forget to enjoy responsibly.
And don't drive high.
Please.
Something embarrassing happens to reveal myself.
She didn't even know what roll up the rim to win was.
I didn't know. I didn't know what
What?
roll up the rim to win.
And she thought she was going to win a Jeep.
I am
No
gonna
one
win a
ever wins
Jeep.
anything.
I am gonna win. I am
Right?
You
So-
would- no room in my Jeep for you. No room in my Jeep for either of you.
Regular
I'm gonna
Canadians smoking weed with Cass featuring Craig X
And
and
then-
some girl named Honey as
And
well.
an Australian tag along.
Yeah.